Everyone, today we will discuss or we will actually continue with the discussion of chapter 21, that is democracy in action. Before we start with today's topic, let's quickly recap whatever we have discussed in the previous videos. Now first and foremost we discussed that what are elections, what is universal adult franchise, what is the role of election commission, what is the role of election commissioner, chief election commissioner, then how constituencies are decided and divided, then to be a part or to become a candidate for election process, what do you need, what is the eligibility criteria. All these discussions have been taking place. Now we will continue with the main topic, that is election process. I would say that this topic is the soul of the chapter, that how actually election process goes on in our country. You all are below the age of 18 years now, you are just in 7th class. So as soon as you grow up and you reach up to the age of 18 years, you all will be eligible to vote. So before that, you should know actually how this process goes on. We have been talking about elections, right to participate, right to elect the representative, but how this process goes on. So it's a step-by-step process we will discuss now. First and foremost, it says President issues notification. So as soon as the President issues a notification that election process has to be initiated or started, that moment only Election Commission decides a date on which the elections will take place, on which different constituencies will elect their leader or political representative. So actually, usually the date is decided by Election Commission only. Then after that, it's file nomination. Now those who want to contest in the election, those who want to become political leader or stand as independent candidates, they need to file the nominations for their election system. Now how they will file nominations, there are two ways. Either through independent, they can stand independently. Otherwise, they can associate themselves with a political party. So they will find their names and nominations along with that. The next will be scrutiny of candidates. Very important. Scrutiny here means they will check actually how authentic these candidates are. Authentic here means that how real the nominations or all those information that they gave about themselves, actually it was real or not. If you remember the previous video, they should not be involved in any kind of criminal offense, they should not be in prison for 2 years or more, they should be at least of 25 years of age. So if they pass on or there is a tick mark on these eligibility criteria, then that nomination will be passed. Otherwise, it will be a failure, and failure means that person won't be allowed to become a representative or to contest in the elections. So scrutiny is done by the returning officer as well. Returning officer in detail finds out how authentic the nomination file of a particular candidate is. The next is symbol allocation. Now what happens? I told you earlier as well, every party or every candidate which is eligible to contest in the elections is assigned a particular symbol. Now why? Because when as a voter I go and I vote, actually every time I have in mind that party symbol. So that party symbol allows me or actually helps me to choose the appropriate party and vote for that particular party. So we can say it's an identification for each political party. And remember, these symbols cannot be identical or similar for more than one party. Each party or each candidate will have a unique symbol which gives its identification for election or voting system. And this is ensured by Election Commission. Election Commission ensures that the symbols are not similar and they are different and they are appropriate for the parties. The next is, this one was the 4th point. Next is election manifesto or campaigning. Now what is manifesto? Manifesto here basically means all the promises, all the outlines of acts or of things which political parties promises to the citizen. For example, let's say, just a random example, that we will provide subsidies in electricity bill, we will provide subsidies in gas, this LPG gas cylinders, we will try to reduce the petrol prices, we'll try to reduce the prices for basic commodities like groceries. So these are few of the, let's say, promises which are made by political parties to general public, so that they attract the vote, and also they have to live up to those manifesto outlines which they have made. So if they have promised any scheme, any policy and new law that they will be implementing, so they have to do it, because remember, in a democracy, each and every form of government or any political party is accountable to the public. So this manifesto campaigning is basically done to attract the voters, to attract citizens to come and vote to their particular party. And in these manifestos and campaigning, they will be mostly promoting all the good pointers, always. The next is, sixth step is polling. Now what happens? Now this is a step which is all about the citizens. We go as when all those citizens who are 18 years or above, along with their voter identity card, they go to the polling booths. That means whichever polling booth is decided by the election commission, they go there, they vote using the EVM machines, electronic voting machines, and that is, so the public goes to polling booths, whichever is decided by the election commission. They go there and they vote for a particular leader or a political party which they want to win. And also remember one thing, that this polling booth, this all voting system is very private. When you go and vote there, no one else can see whether the officers assigned there or people who are going along with you, they can't see that to whom or which political party you're giving vote. So that's also part of legitimacy and a free and fair election system. Then after that is second last step, that is counting of the, actually the last step, counting and declaration of the results. Now finally, all those officers who are assigned duty there, along with the returning officer who is head of constituency, that under the supervision of returning officer, the votes are counted. Whomsoever gets the highest vote, majority of votes, wins over that constituency. That person becomes a political representative, and that person has to work for the welfare of the public. And so the last one is election petition. Now what happens, sometimes the elections are not conducted in a fair means. So political parties or any person who feels, or the opposition person who is not able to win, if that person or party feels that the elections were not conducted in a fair system, so they can go to the High Court and they can file a petition over there, in which there will be a proper investigation done, a proper investigation will be conducted, that whether the election process was fair or not. And if it was not fair, then again re-elections will take place. And also in one more case, let's say the EVM machine through which you voted, that got damaged or something wrong happened with it, so again elections will take place. There will be re-elections for that particular constituency again, so that a fair and legitimate way of election or electing process is conducted. That's all about our election process. And this is a 8-step process. I would love to tell you that you need to learn these headings, and then you can proceed. Whenever it comes in your questions, you can learn the headings first, and then you can proceed with the explanation in your own simple words. So that's all about election process. So that's all about the election process. Now I hope you know that how candidates are selected and elected, and when you grow up, how you have to go on with the election process.